I'm Sue Lees, and I've lived in this road in Islington for over 20 years now, and I'm a member of the local gardening club, Islington Gardeners. This is a normal sort of gardening club, and it does plant sales and talks and coach trips to interesting gardens around the country. And I, in particular, look after a little project called Forgotten Corners, whereby people from the gardening club take on an abandoned patch of public land on the streets and garden it, basically. We do work quite closely with the council because it's nice to have their permission, and we get a fair amount of support from them in terms of litter picking and putting down mulch and possibly putting up a bit of fencing.
Do they supply seeds as well, plants?
They don't, because we don't really need them actually, because we tend to grow all our plants that we need for the Forgotten Corners from our back gardens, and we pass the plants around amongst ourselves.
Is there any difficulties in growing in a public space that's forgotten?
There's a constant flow of litter, and it rather depends where you are as to whether you get your forgotten space walked on by passers-by.
What's the worst thing you found in your forgotten space?
In my forgotten corner, a couple of years ago I went down and I found a most disgusting collection of rotting chicken.
Do you get good feedback from the neighbours?
When I'm in there doing weeding or gardening, all sorts of people come up and say hello, and they usually say how much they've enjoyed looking at it.
What motivated you to actually get involved in having your own garden space?
I used to walk past it going every day to the tube, and it was very badly neglected by all the authorities because there was a difficulty of assigning responsibility for it and cost. And so when the flower bed was made, which was just after the A1 was expanded, they put in all the hybrid tea roses and some of the big shrubs. And then all they did was occasionally litter pick it and spray the weeds. So it was like going past a sort of island of death with all the dying plants. It was incredibly depressing. And so I dug up a lot of plants from my garden and I took cuttings. I didn't have the money to buy a load of stuff from the garden centre. So when I ran out of plants, I simply asked my friends and passers-by if they had any plants which they could spare for the flower bed. And we just went on from there. Lots of people were very supportive. Things survived, as well as having it look much more attractive than it used to look. Bearing in mind it was absolutely ghastly when it started. I've been very keen to put in the sort of plants that will support Islington's biodiversity, particularly I think the insect life. It worked quite well. When I go past I can see all the bees buzzing around. We've got a lot of very tough plants, a lot of Euphorbia robii, periwinkles, comfreys, lemon balm, all of which, and the perennial geranium, and they are all good insect plants. The white thing is a pyracantha bush, which is very good for bees when it's got its flowers, and later on it has lovely orange berries which are very popular with the birds. The pink things, which are very pretty, are vigelias, but I think I've got honey fungus in the flower bed because there used to be more and it gradually died off, starting at the top. And this is a dead Wigelia, but I think I'm going to plant honeysuckle up it. Honeysuckle is good for different kinds of wildlife, and it has blackberries, which the birds like. This white thing is the garlic mustard, food plant of the orange-tip butterfly. And I put those here, and then it was just fantastic one year when I saw the actual caterpillars of the orange-tip butterfly crawling down these. It was a fantastic buzz, and nature had finally done for me what the book said it would do. Butterflies like to lay their eggs on new growth stinging nettles. They're like fresh young leaves for their caterpillars.
Is it the aroma that attracts them?
I don't know. The red admirals and the tortoiseshells and the comets. And I'm just hoping that they will come along and lay their eggs in my stinging nettles. And certainly I have found comets resting in the stinging nettle. The butterflies are having a tremendous decline now, and it is incredibly sad.
Is that because of the change in weather?
I think it probably is, and the farming practices, and the tidying up of everything, the spraying of everything. These arrived here just overnight in pots in the flower bed, and they were a sort of anonymous donation for a passerby. And eventually I discovered who put them there. A very nice Polish lady, emigre, I think, after the war, who I got to know, and she rather sadly died. But every time I see these lilies, I think of Stephanie.
They are beautiful flowers.
They are beautiful. Those big leaves at the back there are hollyhocks.
Oh,
There are
yeah.
several hollyhocks in there, and I'm hoping that, well, I'm sure that they will rise into tall spikes for a bit of height later in summer. Some people in Islington are busy planting up their tree pits and making gorgeous displays. And in fact, one place in Islington to go to is Ockenden Road, N1, and I think they've won various awards for their tree pits. My forgotten corner is not the only forgotten corner. Islington Gardens, we've now got sort of 7 or 8 areas, rather like my flower bed, where members of the public are gardening, and they look so much nicer now than when we started out, when they were awash with fridges, mud, and just ghastly.